Firstly, it's important to understand our organisational and financial structure. At the top of the structure is the Tūwharetoa Māori Trust Board. From there we have two subsidiaries, Ngāti Tūwharetoa FM Charitable Trust and the Taupo Waters Trust. The main asset of Taupo Waters Trust is of course Taupo Waters, which comprises the beds of Lake Taupo, the tributaries that flow into Lake Taupo, and the Waikato River from the outlet of Lake Taupo to Te Toka Atia below Hooker Falls. The Taupo Waters Trust established Taupo Moana Group Holdings to look after investments in commercial businesses, primarily tourism. The hole-in-one Taupo business, purchased in November 2017, is a 100% owned subsidiary of Taupo Moana Group Holdings. The investment in the Jolly business was added in 2020, which forms part of Taupo Moana Group Holdings. When we add the financial results of the Tūwharetoa Māori Trust Board, Tūwharetoa FM, Taupo Waters Trusts and Taupo Moana Group Holdings, making sure that we don't count anything twice, we get our group results, also known as consolidated financial statements. The assets held by the Trust can be grouped into 5 key areas. First, we have $54 million of investments, which is comprised of funds under management, a bond secured by the gondola on Ruapehu Maunga, our investment in the Tūwharetoa Property Investment Limited Partnership, which includes properties like the schools in Taupo District, 50% of Jolly Boats, and 100% in the hole-in-one business. Next, we have Taupo Waters, which was recently valued at $19.8 million. The main contributor to this value being the operating easement we have in place with Mercury Energy. The next major component is receivables and inventory of $7.8 million. This is mainly the value of the income arising from the deed of co-governance and co-management for the Waikato River, which has 9 years to go and is recorded in today's dollars. $2.9 million other fixed assets includes the cruise boats, motor vehicles and plant and equipment. And finally, we also held $2.6 million in cash. The group financial performance for the Tūwharetoa Māori Trust Board, the year ended 30th of June 2021, has returned excellent results. The group revenue of $17.5 million includes a $1.5 million annuity payment from the Crown for access to Taupo Waters for recreational purposes, $2 million for lake bed easement, mainly from Mercury Energy. We received $1 million in cash for the Waikato River Fund. $1.1 million of mitigation funding was received from Genesis and Mercury. $801,000 co-funding from Ngāti Tūwharetoa Fisheries and the Tūwharetoa Settlement Trust directed at education and marae grants. We had $7.5 million in income from our investments. Group revenue also includes income from our subsidiaries Taupo Waters Trust and Tūwharetoa FM. Our group operating expenses were $6.9 million for the year. This was up on last year as we had new projects like the Ringaropa. We had $1.3 million in grants like marae insurance and mitigation fund payments. We also had $1.1 million paid as distributions to members for education grants and kaumātua payments like hearing aids and glasses. The value of the Tūwharetoa Māori Trust Board was $75 million at the beginning of the year. After making a surplus of $8 million and a $1.9 million revaluation of the lake bed, the equity or net assets of the Tūwharetoa Māori Trust Board rose to $85 million as at 30th of June 2021. group financial performance for the Taupo Waters Trust for the year ended 30th of June 2021 was pleasing given the impact of COVID-19. The revenue of $4.1 million is comprised of $2 million from Mercury in relation to the operating easement over Taupo Waters and commercial licences we have with commercial operators, and $1.8 million from Taupo Moana Group Holdings Limited, including its subsidiaries. There were $2.4 million in operating expenses for the year, including staff and costs for our tourism businesses. The value of Taupo Waters Trust was $28 million at the beginning of the year. After making an operating profit of $1.7 million and the revaluation of the Lakebed asset, the equity or net assets of the trust increased to $31.5 million as at 30th of June 2021. Under the new Trust Boards Act, we are required to present a budget for the following financial year. This budget includes the full Mercury and Genesis Energy grants, but doesn't include subsidiaries such as Taupo Waters Trust or Tūwharatua FM. We projected a small deficit of $144,000 after grants and distributions, which will be offset by distribution from Taupo Waters Trust.